Hot on the heels of the updated MT-09, this week Yamaha announced a 2021 version of its sports touring sibling, the Tracer 9. It gets a lot of the same upgrades from the MT-09's significant redesign, and there are a few tweaks specific to this model as well. So in today's video, we'll go over all of the changes of the Tracer 9, the Tracer 9 GT, and also the new Tracer 7 GT. But before we get started, if you're new here and you want to see all of the latest new bike announcements for 2021, then please do remember to hit subscribe. I'll be covering as many of them as I can over the next couple of months, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see those videos as soon as they go live. So let's start with the engine, which is the same CP3 triple cylinder unit that's found in the MT-09. A boosting capacity to 889 cc's for 2021 is responsible for a 7% increase in peak torque, with 93 Newton meters now produced at 7,000 RPM. That's a nice boost, but it's the fact that it's produced 1500 RPM lower in the rev range that will also contribute to a gruntier feel that will of course be of value on a sports tourer. That said, power is also up by 4 horses, with a peak of 119 PS produced at 10,000 RPM. A new exhaust system now has twin exits for a stereo soundtrack, as well as a significant weight saving of 1.4 kilograms, which contributes the majority of the total 1.7 kilograms saved across the engine and exhaust. The CP3 is now of course compliant with Euro 5 emissions regulations, and a revision to the fuel injectors, now mounting them to the throttle valve side instead of directly to the cylinder head, has improved combustion efficiency, which has led to a 9% increase in fuel economy. This means an extended fuel range of over 350 kilometers from the same 18-litre fuel tank as the previous generation. In terms of the transmission, the first and second gear ratios are now slightly taller, whilst the shift fork has also been redesigned for smoother changes. Modifications have also been made to the assist and slipper clutch, with new friction plate materials and a revised cam angle leading to a lighter feel at the lever and smoother downshifts. For 2021, the chassis has also been updated with a new frame design that allows the engine to be positioned more upright, which Yamaha have said improves the overall balance, which leads to better surface feedback from the front end, as well as better traction through corners. The frame is also now lighter, as is the swing arm. Like the MT-09, it's been completely redesigned and now pivots inside the frame as opposed to the outside of the last generation, which they say improves stability in a straight line as well as through corners. The swing arm is specific to the Tracer, however, with 60mm more length than the one used in the MT-09, leading to a longer wheelbase of 1500mm. At the same time as reducing weight, Yamaha have also managed to make it stronger with a new total load carrying capacity of 193 kilograms, which is 7% up on the previous generation. That's allowed them to fit a grab rail, which will also take a top box, which means that you can now tour with a full 3-piece luggage set. The fully adjustable suspension has also been updated with a 30mm shorter fork in order to compensate for the new frame design, whilst the new linkage at the rear shock is more compact and matches the redesigned frame and swing arm. The Tracer also gets the same 10-spoke wheels as the MT-09, which use a new spin-forged manufacturing technique that allows them to make the rims much thinner whilst retaining the same strength. This has led to a weight saving of 700 grams, and with it being unsprung rotating weight, it ought to make for a bike that feels much more agile. These new wheels are shod with Bridgestone's T32 tyres, which are specifically developed for the Tracer 9 in collaboration with Yamaha. They say that their goal was to create a new tyre that could offer excellent wet and dry performance, together with great durability and strong straight line performance, qualities that match the versatile character of this new sport touring. And although the braking setup is largely the same, the Tracer 9 now gets a radial master cylinder built by Nissin, which is the same as that found on the R1. With a radial master cylinder, the piston moves in parallel to the lever travel, which gives a more linear feel, improving the rider's control. One of the biggest areas of improvement for the Tracer 9 is with the electronics. A new ride-by-wire throttle and 6-axis IMU open up a whole bunch of new rider aids and modes, which Yamaha say trickle down from the R1M. There are 4 running modes, with Mode 1 giving the sharpest response, Mode 2 being the all-rounder, Mode 3 is the most gentle and relaxed, and Mode 4 is intended for wet weather riding. The inertial measurement unit now powers lean-sensitive traction control, a slide control system, a wheelie control system, and a 2-mode brake control system, which they say provides added chassis stability during emergency braking situations. Mode 1 operates much like a standard ABS system, whilst Mode 2 automatically modulates brake pressure when the IMU detects that the bike might become unsettled, such as during mid-corner braking. All of this rolls down from the MT-09, but the Tracer 9 also gets cruise control as standard, which is only present on the more premium spec'd SP version of the MT. It can be activated at speeds of 50 km per hour or more and using 4th gear or higher. Once selected, it's adjustable up and down in 2 km per hour increments. Cruise control is of course immediately deactivated as soon as the brakes or clutch are used, or if the throttle is rolled forward. Elsewhere in the electronics department, I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments on this new TFT Dash. It uses two 3.5-inch screens, split almost in the same way that you'd have a pair of analog clocks. The left-hand screen features the basic riding information such as revs, speedo, fuel gauge, gear position and traction control mode, whilst the right-hand screen is split into 4 separate sections, with each displaying information like the odometer, trip meters and air temperature. On the one hand, I like to see something a bit unusual, but on the other, I can't help but think that a single large TFT is more versatile and offers better visibility. But let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. In terms of lighting, the Tracer 9 gets LEDs all round, with a pair of daytime running lights at the front and the main headlights sitting below, recessed into the bodywork. One is responsible for the low beam whilst the other projects the high beam, and Yamaha say they've designed them to give excellent forward illumination with a new even spread of light that's softer at the edges, making the beam easier on the rider's eyes. There's also an LED light at the rear as well as LED indicators. That rounds off a pretty comprehensive electronics package for the Tracer 9, although it's missing a smartphone integration, which are becoming more and more commonplace on bikes at all price points. They're especially useful on touring bikes where you might want to use integrated navigation or control phone calls and music from the switchgear. There is a Yamaha My Ride app which lets you log your rides as well as some metrics, but I believe this is solely generated by the phone as opposed to integrated with the bike in any way. Yamaha have also sought to improve comfort by accommodating 8 different riding positions by adjusting the contact points. A newly developed rider's seat is now significantly lower, with 2 options of 810mm and 825mm that can be set without tools. The footrest can also go up or down by 15mm, whilst the handlebar can be moved forward by 9mm and upwards by 4mm by reversing the clamps. In addition, a new larger adjustable windscreen should help to protect the rider from the wind, reducing fatigue over longer journeys. It's adjustable through 50mm with 10 increments of 5mm. Visually, the Tracer has been reworked for 2021, and although the MT-09 didn't go down that well when it was unveiled a couple of weeks ago, I think Yamaha have done a decent job here. These sports touring crossover bikes are never going to be as svelte as a sports bike or as rugged as a fully fledged adventure bike, but I think that this design strikes a nice balance. It's got a fairly aggressive look despite the fact that it has to be pretty tall, and I also like the twin projector headlights which look modern without going as far as the MTs. But as always, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. On top of the Tracer 9, there will also be a GT trim again, which adds some extra equipment and accessories in order to improve long-range comfort and ability. First up, the GT comes with a pair of colour-matched hard side cases, each of which is capable of storing a full-face helmet. The cases are attached to the subframe with a floating carrier system that absorbs wind or road chatter in order to give a natural riding feel. The suspension also gets an upgrade with a KYB semi-active system that automatically adjust damping according to the riding conditions and data received from the IMU. 2 modes are offered, with Mode 1 providing a more sporty, taut feel, whilst Mode 2 is designed for comfort even on rougher surfaces, which makes it a better choice for steady or straight line touring miles. On top of that, you get an up and down quick shifter as standard, lean sensitive headlights powered by the IMU, heated grips with 10 levels, as well as an additional Yamaha Icon performance finish, which is said to be inspired by the R1M. There are no prices for either model as of yet, but they're expected in dealers from March next year. The Tracer 9's smaller sibling, the Tracer 7, was updated in 2019 and as such doesn't get a major redesign for the 2021 model year, but it will now be available in a GT version which adds a few accessories in order to improve long-range comfort. Firstly, there's a pair of 20-litre side cases, whilst a higher and wider windscreen improves weather protection. Its height has increased by 92mm and width by 70mm, so that's quite a substantial improvement. Lastly, the Tracer 7 GT will come with a specially designed comfort seat with a dual material skin, contrasting stitching, varied foam density zones, and an integrated Tracer logo. All of these accessories are available individually, but it makes a nice package overall. Again, no price as of yet, but this one is in dealers from February. So that rounds off the Tracer updates for 2021, and although the Tracer 7 GT is pretty much an accessory kit, the changes to the Tracer 9 and GT look pretty great with gains in almost every department. I'd love to know what you make of it down in the comments below. Would you take this for putting in some decent touring miles, or perhaps something like the Triumph Tiger 900 GT? Let me know your pick in the comments below, and if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe and I'll catch you next time.